Good evening. Welcome to our live stream. Tonight, I'm going to be talking to you about how to explore art with your kids. It can be intimidating when art is not your wheelhouse and you are not comfortable with art history or don't feel like you know a lot or don't feel like you belong in a gallery or a museum. So, I just wanted to gift you with this tonight, just a little chat about how you can add simple conversations to a gallery trip or to explore art at home. I'll give you a couple of resources to do that, to add art into your lives. You're probably already doing some of these things in other subjects. We can just bring it over into art. So we're in the middle of our Cat Academy sneak peek week. So Cat Academy is Kids Art Tour Academy, and it's fine art classes for homeschoolers. And we are starting in September. I'm going to teach for the whole school year. So once you sign up, you don't have to worry about art for the school year. I will take care of it for you. I will teach your kids drawing, and in just a second, I'll show you more specifically. It's for ages 9 to 18, and I bracket that off. They're not all together. So we have a younger group and an older group. It is online and person. I've been doing in-person classes for quite some time, and I'm finally offering online, and I'm really excited about it. Now, last night, I showed you a little bit about, I did some perspective, and I have a little camera that will show what I'm doing on the table. So I'll give you a little taste of what an online class looks like. Tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, I'm going to give you a more full class experience. So you want to join me again. So you can see what online classes are going to be like. You're not getting less with an online class. There are pros and cons to both. So join me tomorrow morning to see what that exactly will be like. We go through from September to May. And we're stopping in May here because a lot of times in June, families start having their vacations and they're not available. So if there are any families that want to continue on into June, I will do that for you. And it satisfies the homeschool art requirements for all ages and states. So we live in New York. And so New York is one of the three hardest, I would say hardest, but just like there's more to do for homeschooling. You have to report, you have to get your plan approved and things like that. So the art that I'm providing will satisfy New York State. So you're probably just more than qualified to have this art count for homeschool. So, and then I have some student gifts to give away. If you register your child by the end of this week, then you can choose a little notebook that I made. This is what we're going to be doing. A lot of drawing, sketching from life, shading, value, smooth tone. You can see we have charcoal, a couple different kinds of charcoal. We have Conte, we're going to do pen and ink, and then we have principles of art, shadows and things, what to look for. We're going to tackle some difficult subjects so that they can feel confident in them and not be intimidated by difficult things like the fabric and patterns and books and things like that. So it's really going to be a rich education. It's modeled after my college experience. And I went to college, I have a master's in art, and we're really going to teach them real fundamentals of drawing. So last night, if you want more details, I took about an hour and just talked about exactly what we're going to be doing in our classes. So if you want to know more, you might want to watch last night. So just scroll down a little further on the page you're on, and you should be able to find it. Sharing is caring. So you have your own groups, you have your homeschool groups that you are connected to that I'm not. And I would love to have more students, especially online students. I'm very connected to the kids here, but I don't have an online presence. So if you know of anybody, share the website. You can share it to your homeschool groups. Consider that, please. So I have a goal of 12 students. Right now we have 3. And the more we get, Mona will get more color. So I would really appreciate that. Okay, let's get into what we're going to talk about tonight. So I was trying to put into words the things that I do with the kids and bring it right down. So I brought it down to 2 things. When we discover art together, when I'm talking about discovering art, I'm talking about actual works of art from art history, or anything that we find is beautiful. You can bring this into any part of your life. Nature, the beauty of nature, your animals, anything like that. So it can just be anything. But if you're intimidated about doing art history and that piece of art appreciation, so this will really help you. So we do observation, which we're just like looking at the paintings. And then we add some curiosity and there's a couple more steps after that, but we're going to focus on these first. So observation. We walk into the gallery or we go into another space, the library that has a little bit of art on the walls. We're going to take time and just notice. So allow for time, maybe quiet. Maybe there's no talking at the time. Um, we're just going to spend time with the painting. And sometimes you can spend, the gallery, or we can just stop at one piece and just look at it for a while. And when I was doing online art, the little live art classes, I would zoom in. So I would take like this little square of the art and just move it around. And we would just kind of go around, roam around the painting a little bit and just notice. So the longer you spend with a work of art, the more you're going to be rewarded. The more you're going to notice, the more you're going to enjoy. And it's also really good for your emotions, for you mentally as well. When you focus on something that's beautiful and that's not everything else that you're concerned about or worried about, it's kind of like takes you outside of where your thoughts are normally. It's really good. It's really refreshing, actually. And actually, if you have a child who's struggling, having a hard day or have a hard moment, some of these techniques are actually used in therapy sessions. When you're coming in hot and you're just not okay, it can help your body actually relax. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm going to come back. So take time to enjoy the beauty. Take time. We're going to, oh, I love how these two colors came together. Did you see how they mixed? Or over here, they're hard edged. Look at his clouds. Look how the clouds aren't fully white in all the areas. You would think clouds would be fully white, but they're not. Where do you think the sun is? By looking at the shadows. Um, what do you notice about her dress? Her dress is moving. What do you notice about her veil? Her veil is moving. So just observing, and you might just take time, like, hey, look at that, and just, oh, look at that, look, enjoy that. So you can do that with the painting, and it can just be free time. So when you're kind of done with that part, then you're going to move on into the curiosity part, where you start to form some opinions. And we haven't learned anything about the painting yet. We're just experiencing it. And I think it's important to not get the info right away. Sometimes you might want to. It's okay if you do. But it's okay to pull back and not find out a lot about it. Just experience the art as it is. You can ask questions. Why are they there? The windy day. I wonder what they're doing. Do they have a picnic? Is this their property? Or you can start just making up some stories or to use your imagination. So right now we're just experiencing the painting, enjoying it. Look at all the colors in the grass. How do the colors change in the shadow as opposed to the sunlight? There's less yellow in the shadows. I see a little blue in the shadows. Look at the light hitting the back of her dress. That gives you an indication where the sun might be, too. Look how the shadows on her dress are blue. That's interesting. And I also see some yellow under her sleeve. And look, there's a little boy there. So there are things that you'll notice. And when I was doing Kids Art Tour, we would roam around the painting and truly see things we hadn't seen before. And I'll show you one thing that I noticed in just a second here. So then we do something called the five senses. And this is a really good, actually, technique to calm anxiety down, is to bring your senses into a nice, beautiful place. And I will go through the senses with you in just a minute. After that, then you can get some information. Then you can maybe read a write-up about the art, look it up online, get some information, because then sometimes something you read there will make you go back to the art. You might read that Monet always did such and such, or he knew this person and the little boy about something about the little boy. I don't know. I haven't looked it up, honestly, but it will bring you back to it. I have a couple other examples of that. So the information can enhance what you've already done, and then we'll bring you back to the artwork, and then you will bond with it even more. So let's go through just a little bit of the five senses. So, what are our five senses, right? Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. Okay, let's start with touch. And usually it's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Five things you can feel. You pick one. I can't remember the order. So we're just going to go, what things might you be feeling? You're going to be in the painting. What things would you be feeling in this painting? And just leave some time. I'm probably feeling the wind. If I'm the lady, I'm feeling the veil move on my face, and I'm feeling my dress moving. I'm feeling the weight of the parasol. If it's windy, I'm holding the parasol against the wind. I'm feeling that going on. Um, what are you hearing? Well, it's windy. We keep going back to that. We're hearing the grasses move. Maybe there's other kids, so we can start using our imagination. Maybe there's other kids around. I can hear the kids laughing. Um, I can hear things being set up. I'm just going to go with they're having a picnic. I can hear dishes being set out, maybe some forks on the plates, things like that, things being dished up. Okay, so we did feeling, we did hearing, seeing. What are we seeing? We've already talked about that. So we would talk about the flowers and all these things here. Another feeling would be the warmth of the sun on her back. She can probably feel that. And some that are a little harder, sometimes smelling and taste aren't going to be obvious here. But here's where we use our imagination. What could you be smelling? Well, the fresh air and maybe the flowers. And then maybe if this were happening today, maybe you could smell coffee or other food items that are today that are there today. What could you be tasting? Maybe she just came from lunch. Maybe she just had a tall glass of cold lemonade. That sounds good. So we've immersed ourselves in the painting and just kind of had fun. And now we've just had a few minutes of focusing on something fun and beautiful and good. So that's the five senses. So how can we take these two, three things, the curiosity, the observation, the curiosity, and the information out? How can we go and explore art? So, two places, at home and at venues, uh, basically everywhere, at home and not at home. So, let's tackle at home. I have a couple ideas for you. So, at home, we can take a walk. All of nature is beauty and it's God's artwork. We can enjoy that. Look at that leaf. Look how that tree is more yellowy. The leaves on that tree are more yellow than that tree. That tree is like kind of bluish green. Interesting. Look at that rock. Look at the stripes on that rock. Look at that bug. Look at that bird. And just observe. And oh, wonder what he's doing. Oh, that bird might be looking for a worm. You do this already. And it's all good. And it can be like artistic as well. Obviously, you can look at books. You can check out books from the internet. You probably already do this as well. And internet, you could do some exploring on the internet. So I want to show you something. See? Hmm. Okay, there we go. No, I don't want to do that. I'm having trouble. There, that's what I want to do. Okay, so I want to start this off from scratch so you'll be able to find it. So you type in Google arts and culture, and you will find this. Now, there's lots of places on this page. Some of it you might want to look at before you have your kids with you, because in the art world, there are things that you might not want your kids to see. So go ahead and poke around and find some things for them. Now, okay, you see games. I only clicked on this one, Mice in the Museum. I'm assuming because it's for kids that it's all fine, but I would advise you to check it out. This one's kind of cute. It just gives you a piece of art, and then they pop out of the ground and they just chat about the art. One will give information, and the other one will give observations. So that one's cute. You can explore art by the place, and what it looks like is the about art done on these places. So there's artwork about Pompeii. There's there's Japan style art and art on Japan. So and then you can click on these collections, and then you can click on specific things, and then there will be a nice little write up about it. And you can enjoy it. Um, this is really gorgeous. I want it. Probably can't have it. Hawk size prints. A lot of these are really beautiful. Um, these are really neat. So you can learn all about them. There was one thing. Oh, stories. Okay, stories is something that I just discovered. So you go in and you're going to learn about that piece. And you keep clicking down and it gives you a little blurb, and then it zooms in and it tells you about something here. This is the information part. So if you want to do the things we just talked about online here, you can do that. So pull up the piece before you get clicking, do your observations, do your curiosity part, and then go through this story, and you're going to get some more information. I like these a lot because you just need something simple sometimes, and you don't need a degree, and you don't want to spend an hour looking for it. So I would just make sure everything is as you would like your child to see before you click through. So that is that. I'm going to go back. So we did places. You can look up by artists. Okay, I'm going to go completely safe and go with Claude Monet. And here are some stories. So when you're done with this story, you'll have a deeper knowledge about this painting, which I really love. I did go through this one already, and it was very interesting. Why he's here? He's in London right now. Monet is from France, so there was a war, and they were in London to escape. And then it talks about the buildings, and then it talks about the bridge here, and you get some actual history along with the artwork. And it just brings you all the way through. And then things you didn't think to look at or notice, like, did you notice the reflection of this in the water? No, I didn't. So now you go back and look for it. So it just really deepens the interest of art. And now, after you've learned these things, after you spend time with the art, you really bond with the art. So there are a few artists that like are very famous that I just really didn't get it. Was not a huge Van Gogh fan. Just I didn't really connect with his work. But then I watched a documentary about his work, and I started connecting a little more. And now some of his paintings I really do like. It's not my style of painting at all, but I'm able to enjoy other styles now. So anyway, these stories are really great. And you can click on any artwork you so desire. And then you can look by museum. So we're going to go to the Van Gogh Museum just real quick. You can click on the artwork and get a little write up. You can also, sometimes you get a link right to the artwork, and sometimes you just get a link to the museum and you'll have to search the title. But you'll have a little write up there and more information if you want it. And then the other nice thing, some museums, I would say most of them, have virtual visits. So you can go virtually and walk around. Some of them, I haven't totally figured it all out. Some of them you can click on if you get it just right. Okay, so like this one, you see the little hand come up. Um, you can click on them. Oh, maybe not. Some of them did that for me. Okay, well, then you have these down here, and I got success with this. So if you go over here, then you'll have a little cookie thing there too. Sometimes you got to get it just right. And then there's the information, and then there's an external link, and you can find out where it actually is. You have to travel to Amsterdam to see this painting in person. So you can click on any of these, or you can just mosey around the space. Oh, this is one of my favorites. I love these. Oh my goodness. I had this one on my wall just a couple weeks ago. So beautiful artwork. So this is a fun way to explore online. I feel like that was it for this website. So I'm going to click you off of that. Okay, let's keep going. So obviously we can also go out to events. We can look. Libraries usually have a little artsy craftsy something going on. Art centers love to have events for kids. So we live in a really great area for artsy things. And I don't know if it's true all over, but especially in the summer, especially on weeks that the local schools are out of school. Our Rockwell Museum will have events for the kids. So we go there, and then they have a museum. So we go there to see. They have permanent collections that are always there. And then they have a room where they have an exhibit that, every few months it switches out. And those are really fun to go see. So you might want to get on the mailing list of some local places and galleries, and they will email you when they're going to have a new exhibit. And if it's something that you think your kids will enjoy, then just go and enjoy. It just takes a few minutes. And sometimes, well, for the Rockwell Museum that we go to, they always have like little scavenger hunts. So you give you a sheet of paper with like little tiny zoomed in sections of a painting, and you have to go around and find them. So that's a great way to have your kids be looking at art a little bit, or just get used to being in the gallery. Um, yeah, let's go on. So preparation, depending on your child's age, you might need to prepare them a little bit, especially if you're going to go to a gallery or a museum. Uh, Not to intimidate, not to feel like you don't belong at all. There are just ways to behave, right? Um, so when I was teaching at 171, they have a gallery downstairs, which is really great for the kids. So I would teach like a 6-week class or something. And one of those weeks, we would go downstairs and see the current exhibit. And before we went, I would set up a space where we were doing art and make like a pretend gallery with just, I would set things up that could represent, artwork on the walls or something on a pedestal. And we would talk about how we walk through. Our movements are slow and our voices are low. We're not yelling, we're not screaming, we're not walking fast, we're not definitely not running, we're not flailing our arms. The movements are slow and our voices are low. And we're going to treat the room and the space with respect. We're going to respect the paintings by giving them space. Back when we had COVID, we were like, give it, 6 feet, but we weren't giving them 6 feet. But and then we talk about, what not to do. We're not pointing, we're not getting really close to the paintings. We're not talking poorly about the paintings. We can do that later when we're all together and we're not around like the staff or the artist maybe. And then I'll let them walk through the gallery one by one, and they can do it right or wrong. And the other students will like critique, like, oh, they were loud. Oh no, they backed up. They weren't careful about where they were. Because sometimes there's things set up in the room. You've seen videos of people walking into things in museums, backing up, knocking this vase over. That's priceless. You've seen videos of people. Recently, the guy sat in a chair and broke it. Like, why? Why? Don't do these things. These are adults. It's kind of scary. So talk about those things and let them pretend, explore space, especially if they're little. And then before you go, if you want to, Usually the museum or the gallery will have something on their website about the art. You can kind of just check and make sure it's not going to be like a nude exhibit. Sometimes there are. So you just want to make sure that it's what you're okay with, something your kid would enjoy. And then if there's any information that you just kind of want to know ahead of time, that will enhance the trip. So um, we're going to do the same. Sorry, my brain. We're going to do the same things when we're in the exhibit that we talked about. We're going to engage with the art. When I was teaching the kids, this is this is one day that we were there in the exhibit. I just give them a few minutes, just walk around and just enjoy looking. And then okay, everybody, what did you see? What did you like? What did you notice? What do you like about these pieces of art? Things like that. Experience the space, the colors, the subject, the style, discuss it because sometimes it's not always going to be oil paintings. It might be glass or metal, and you're going to share your observations. And then you're going to get curious. What's your favorite artwork? Why? Where in the house did you put it? I like these kind of questions, like the what ifs, like this not going to happen, but where would you put it? Who in our family would most like this painting? Or which painting would mom like? Which one has mom's favorite colors in it? Which painting would you want to be in? So, a lot of fun questions, and you can come up with your own. Definitely do five senses if you want. If they are really connecting with a piece, really enjoying a piece. And then curiosity. How did they make that? Why? Okay, the cost. Why did it cost so much? Going to a gallery with kids or a museum where they're selling things, they always notice the price and they're always like, "What is it, $3,000?" So it's always an interesting question to answer, and it can be enhanced by learning all the steps that this artist had to go through to make it. So we went to well, there was a glass exhibit, but it wasn't shiny, and we were like, how did they make it? And I can't remember the process, but after reading about it, it was just like that must have taken absolutely forever, and they deserve every penny of it. Have much more appreciation after you learn about artwork, what they had to do, and so that can really enhance the whole trip. So can you find? Okay, so maybe it's a exhibit that has like a theme. How many of this can you find? So they're a little scavenger hunt. You can have them have some fun doing that, and then you can get some information, and then you'll loop back around. So a little example. And this is another time that we went downstairs into the gallery, and it was a metal art show, and all of these pieces were metal. And so we walked around and looked at them, and I can't remember what exactly I had them do. Sometimes I have them sketch things. Sometimes I have them answer questions about them. They were filling out their paperwork, and we were discussing and kind of trying to figure out how he did certain things. And then we went to info. So then we went out, there was a write up about it. And then we found out how he hung each piece to do what he needed to do. He would spray it with the paint and then he would spray it with the lacquer. And come to find out, every piece had a little loop on it. And we are like, it does? So then we went back into the gallery and we went all the pieces and found that, yes, they all had this little loop. None of us saw them before. So it was a really neat moment. And then we went up to the art room and I had bottle cleaners. What are they called? Where they're like wire and the fuzzy, and then they're all different colors. So pipe cleaners, yeah. And so you see the wire shape. So we made something kind of like that. But so that is part of the output that I do want to talk about as well. Okay, so outputs. Just hang on to that thought because I had something else to do. Okay, story time. Another experience that we had, and I will share my screen again. I have to get rid of that, and I have to do some clickies. So give me just a second. There it is. Okay, you should be. Yes, I did it right. Okay, so sorry, story time. I guess I'm going to talk for just a minute. Back to 171. We had to go there for something. The lady was busy. We couldn't ask her the question we needed to know. We were actually in the wrong building and didn't realize it. And so we were kind of like stuck. And we couldn't leave because we needed to pick something up and we were in the wrong place and we couldn't find out because she was talking. So we thought, well, let's just go and see what they have on exhibit. And it was this lady's work. And it ended up being such a great experience. There we go. Like me figuring out where to put myself. Okay, so this is the lady, Diane Fitch. And I wanted to pull it up because I wanted to share this experience that we had. Um, I think I'm going to show this one to you. So we walked around and we did the things. We observed. I'm going to try to zoom in. This might go fast. Okay, there we go. We observed, we looked at the art, we pointed out things we loved about it, and then we started being curious. So things I love all these different shades. It's like a patchwork of paint and all different shades and like little squares or little blotches of thick paint. I just loved the style. There was something about it. And all the different colors here because of the lamp. Look at the purple and the orange and the pink. And there's pictures here. Oh, look at that typewriter. And then we have a kitchen, and then we can see outside. We can tell it's not too bright, or else this wouldn't really show up. But we do have, some light coming into the windows. And down here, look, someone's playing a Scrabble game. So observing. Now we're gonna ask some questions. Who's winning the Scrabble game? I wonder how many people are playing. Can't tell. I wonder what they're typing. And then we can start making up a story about that. I bet they're typing about whatever. Is it almost dinner time? Maybe someone's in there. We can play Five Senses a little bit. Can I smell dinner cooking? Are they getting ready to have visitors, company over? Where would you, if you came in this room, where would you be sitting? I think I'd sit in this chair, or I might sit on the couch. I don't know if I'd want to sit back here at the table unless there were snacks there. So we just went around and really enjoyed this artwork. And we were really probably only there like 15 minutes and just felt so refreshed by the art and just so thankful that we had been kind of forced to spend time there. This was another one. And then we started noticing there were a lot of doll houses. And so that's where I was like, well, let's see how many paintings have doll houses. And so we went back around and looked. And this is the same room, you can tell, these two pieces of furniture here. So it's just another view of the same room. Oh, look how they put the dolls on the books. Kids are just having a lot of fun. So we just spent more time looking around at all the artworks because we just took our time. So when we were done, we just felt so refreshed and thankful for that we had to spend time there. There we go. Okay. So I hope with these examples that it makes a lot of sense. Again, this makes sense. You're probably doing it in many, many other areas, but I just want to get rid of that intimidation. You can do that in art too. And you don't have to know all these things about an artist. You can just enjoy it. Okay, so back to the output. So we've observed, we've been curious, we've gotten ourselves some information, we have input a lot of things, and now we're going to do something with it. And this is optional, but if you want to make like a nice trip for your kids, like we're going to this place and we're going to enjoy this. And now we're going to do something with what we just saw. This is something I like to do sometimes at the beginning of my classes. If I just need a little icebreaker, I put a painting up and I tell them to write a meme for it. So this is an example of something they can do. You can make up a story about one of the paintings that you saw. I think one of the kids in my class, this was good. It was like someone gave you a dog for your birthday, but you didn't. You're not a dog person. It does look like she's like, what do I say? And the dog has a ribbon on it, so it does look like a gift. So it was probably spot on. But you can make up a story about it. Maybe this is her long lost dog, and she didn't know where it was for a long time. And so use your imagination. More outputs, posing and movement. This lady, it looks cool, but if you try to put your arms like this and you're like, it's kind of hard to do. So have your kids like pose like it. Or if there is a painting with a lot of people in it, okay, you be the guy, you be the girl over there with this, and just kind of like act it out. And like, how do you feel about where you are? Um, what do you think? Um, so it's just fun to do. So this painting is by John Singer Sargent, and he's kind of known for like doing really cool hands, and it looks neat. But when you really think about where her elbow is, I don't think my arm goes that way. It looks a little painful. So have your kids try to do those poses. And we're going to explore our emotions. This might fit in more with observation, but it was just another idea I had. We have an emotion wheel that I use sometimes. And how do you feel if you're in this painting? After we do the five senses, is a good time to do this. How are you feeling? I would feel amazing in this painting. Maybe I'd feel a little warm, but maybe it's a cold day because she's got long sleeves on. And she's got the warm sun to kind of offset that a little bit. But the breeze and the clouds and the sun and the coffee that's definitely there on the side, or the lemonade, I I would feel amazing. I would just like best day ever. Let's not leave. So explore your emotions. We can talk about that. And it's just a deepening of enjoying the artwork. So we're going to recap. I've done it before. Observation, curiosity, then you get your information, and then you can output. And that's where I do a little artwork. We could do that. We can draw something. You can sketch the art. Or, oh, back with the writing, you could write a letter to the artist, even if they're not living. You could email the actual artist if the artist is living. You could write a postcard to someone in the painting, like to the lady, like, hey, I love your dress. Fire. There's a lot of things that you can do and just have fun with it. You don't have to be a scholar. You just have to use your imagination. Okay, well, thank you for joining me, and I hope it was helpful. And I just want to remind you about Cat Academy. Please spread the word. It would be such a blessing to have 12 students this year. The registration deadline is August 20th. If you want more information, there's a lot of information on the website page. And then last night, I talked a lot about everything that we're going to be doing this year. You've got longer classes. They're an hour and a half, taught by a working artist. Who could that be? It's me. So I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been working in the field for 20 years. I've been teaching for over 20 years. I've taught kids, teens, and adults these things and more. So I can take your art for the year. Please trust me with that. Your kid will receive a fine art education. This is not arts and crafts. We are not just doing, not that there's not a place for that. There is a place for that, but your child will learn how to draw and will learn how to follow directions and good presentation and all these things. And something I didn't mention before was that I will give regular one-on-one time with your child. So we will have class time where your child will be working. I will go around individually to each and help them with what exactly they're doing. I can do the same thing online. Okay. And availability outside of class time, if they need me throughout the week, they can shoot me a picture and I will help them. All right. Oh, and I did want to mention just a couple things. This lady had commented on a post that I made like last week. And I had taught her kids years ago. Like this was like my very first set of in classes in my home. And not even these. These are older, but it was like way before that. And her kids are off in college and her daughter just got her doctorate. So they're gone. They're like off on their own doing things. And she said to me, the only thing, this was her actual writing, this was her quote, the only thing my son specifically requested to see from all his years of schooling as I went through things this summer was his artwork. What a connection. She said, my daughter went on to connect with an art community online, producing and selling art just for the fun of it. Now, they have not pursued art with their careers. She's in, I think, the medical field, and he's doing something technical. Yet art is such a meaningful part of their childhood and fond memories and treasured times. So this is a good investment. It is something that they will remember. And I have students that I had, oh, maybe 5 years ago, and we still connect and chat because they're friends with Landon, my son. And sometimes in our conversation, something still will come back from a lesson that we learned, like a joke we had because of some lesson that we had. And there's a connection there. There still is a connection. And I'll leave you with this. Um, After studying the art in the classroom, we did some glass artists. And then when you go see it in person, you feel like you're seeing a celebrity. It's really, really great. We choose homeschooling for many reasons, right? And one of them is so we can provide this better education for our kids. And I believe the Cat Academy is that for your kids, especially if they are interested in art. This is one of those higher quality um, educational opportunities that you can give to your children. Um, and I would just be so honored if you would sign them up and just have them in my class. And I really enjoy connecting with my students and just seeing them improve and be more excited about art and just the passion growing. So, tomorrow morning, I am teaching an art lesson. So, come with your kids and we will do some of the things that we talked about, not everything. Um, we will look at some artwork, we will look at an artist, and we will do a little bit of art. All you're going to need is paper and a pen. Probably a black pen would be best, but you can get whatever color you want. It will be very simple in the supplies area. But I'm going to do a little lesson for you, and you're going to be able to see how the online lessons will work, and that it's going to be really great. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and then we have one more live stream on Saturday, and then our sneak peek week is over. So the deadline for getting the little journals is this week. If you would sign your kids up, that would be great. And sign up. The deadline for signing up for Cat Academy is the 20th. So please share, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 11. Bye.